Hi, this is Jess over at Old Silver Arrow. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. It's the new year. It's 2025, which is insane. I feel like last year went by so quickly, I kind of blinked and missed it. You'll notice I started to upload some videos to my YouTube channel last year. I think I only uploaded like 3 or 4, along with some shorts. One of my resolutions for this new year is to really start taking this channel seriously and using it to document all of the books that I read. I think it'll be worth it in the long run. It's something that I really enjoy doing, but it kind of fell by the wayside as I was, picking up with my master's program and taking a lot of heavy workload classes. I just didn't really have time to focus on it. But now that it's January, the new semester is starting, I'm overloaded with classes again, so here we are. But I really want to prioritize this channel as my creative outlet, and I think it'll help me build some momentum in hitting my reading goals for the year, and also just taking some time out of my busy schedule to read books that I find enjoyable and read for fun, basically. For the past 3 or 4 years, I've set my reading goal at 100 books, and so far I've never managed to hit it. I came really close last year. I read 89 books, maybe 90 books. I'd have to check my Storygraph. But I got really close, and I didn't quite get there because I got swept up in holiday travel, spending a lot of time with my family, those kind of things. I just didn't have time to really, bang out a lot of reads at the end of the year. So this year, I'm gonna try really hard to start off strong and tackle all of those things that I've been looking forward to getting to. My TBR is massive. I own way too many books, obviously. I mean, can you tell? I think the master's/PhD student life is just accumulating a lot of books. I need to buy a new bookshelf. All of my TBR fun reads are living like over there in the corner on the floor. I got a lot of new books for Christmas. I was in Chicago over the break, and being in Chicago means, for me at least, that I'm visiting all of my favorite local bookstores, which means I come home with a lot of books and journals. It can be an issue, right? So the first book that I read this year, I've only read one. It is The Dagger and the Flame. This book I got through my Book of the Month subscription service a couple of months ago. It's a young adult fantasy romance. It's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet situation, where both of these main characters belong to separate magical orders. They're kind of like guilds in my head. I don't think they call themselves that. But the boy, whose name is Ransom, belongs to the Order of the Daggers. And the Daggers are basically contract bounty hunters. They will take out anybody if you pay them enough, basically. And our main character, Sarah, or Seraphine, depending on whether you want to go by her full name or not, she belongs to an order called the Cloaks, and the Cloaks are contract thieves. So if there's an object that you want to acquire, if you can pay the Cloaks, they will get it for you. And both of these orders use the same type of magic in different ways. It's called shade. The Cloaks wear it, they weave it into their clothing, allowing them to blend into shadows and be really sneaky, whereas the Daggers consume it. And consuming shade kind of drives you into this killing rage where you get the hunger for the kill immediately and you have to take it out somewhere. The two orders were started by brothers who had a major falling out, and so now the two orders are not in contact with each other. They're kind of like arch enemies. So we definitely have an enemies to lovers fantasy romance going on in this book. It was really good. I think this concept was interesting. It was well executed. We see a lot of enemies to lovers coming out these days, but I thought it was interesting and kind of, it gave you a little bit of a spin on the whole subject. I didn't think that it was boring or overdone. So I really enjoyed this book. It was a great way to kick off my year. But one of the goals that I have for this year is to finish up all of the books that I've gotten from the Book of the Month subscription. I am definitely behind. I just ordered my January box. The thing that I have the habit of doing is ordering 2 books at a time, where I don't actually get around to reading them within the month that I get them, which is an issue, as you can imagine. The second book that I'm reading this year is this one. This is Attached at the Hip by Christine Riccio, which if you've been on BookTube since 2015, or 2014, like that's when I started watching it, you'll know that Christine over at Pullin' Bananas Books is one of the biggest booktubers out there. She doesn't upload much anymore, which breaks my heart. She posts shorts every now and then, which is enjoyable, and I've been following her TikToks for a while, but this is her third book. I've read her other two. They're really just, you know, kind of like warm and fuzzy, good feeling books. This one is definitely a romance. It's fun and silly. It's based on the Survivor TV show. So basically, our main character, Ori, is cast on a spin-off Survivor show called Attached at the Hip, where you're basically like tethered to your potential romantic partner and you can't take the tether off. So you're out in the wilderness, basically tied around the waist to this guy that you just met. It's really fun. I'm about 95 pages into this book. It's been really enjoyable so far. It's snowy, it's cold. I needed like a summery, tropical, fun romance to get me through this ice cold weather. And this is definitely, you know, the kind of fun, silly book to get you through if you need something like that. So this is my second read of the year. Another thing that I'm doing this year that I haven't done in years past is I'm trying to focus on reading one book at a time. I'm very much a mood reader, so what I tend to do is I start 3 or 4 books and then a few of them will just like sit around as I burn through one after the other. But you know, I'll get like 20 pages into a book and set it aside, and then I won't come back to it for months sometimes, and I've completely forgotten what I've read. There were a couple of books at the end of last year that never made it to completion, and that upsets me. I'm not a person that DNFs books. I know a lot of people do if they're not enjoying them, but I'm a firm believer that, at least for myself, if I start a book, I need to finish it, and my mood reading habits have made it so that I'm not accomplishing that. So I'm going to try to change that. Attached at the Hip is the only book that I'm reading right now, you know, other than school books. So I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna get through it. I'm enjoying it. So far that hasn't been a problem. Hopefully though, I remain in the mood for romance long enough to read this book to completion. That's one of the things that I'm really trying to change this year. But yeah, this is kind of just a short update video to keep you guys posted on where I'm at, what new goals are coming down the pipe for this channel. I would really like to be in a position where I'm posting at least once a week. During the semester, that's probably not going to be feasible, but I'm going to do my best to at least upload some shorts or something. You know, just really keep it consistent. Consistency is the biggest thing with social media that I just haven't been able to maintain in the past. I'm really trying to keep up with my TikToks too, although, you know, if TikTok gets banned, then I don't know, maybe we'll move it over to Instagram. I don't know how to do Reels though. I know it's similar, but the editing software just, I'm not good with tech, as you can probably tell. But I'm gonna do my best to remain more consistent with this. I'd like to expand this channel also to include content about journaling. I started a reading journal. I've been journaling about my reads for the past 3 or 4 years, but I typically don't keep up with it on time. So I see like content from other creators who make journaling videos and I'm like, oh, well, I'm 3 months behind, so I can't make a video about that. But that's not true, you know, I can make content as it comes, and that's gonna be one of the things that I seek to do this year, is just make content when I have it. And hopefully it will be enjoyable to somebody, because one of the things I do, I go back and I rewatch old videos all the time from creators that I like. So releasing them right as something is happening or as something is becoming popular, I don't think is necessarily essential. We're gonna see though. So I'd like to expand and make some journaling content. I keep journals all the time. I'm a writer, that's what I do. You know, I'm getting a PhD in literature. Like, all I do is read and write. Like, that's my whole life right now. Because I have the opportunity to pursue my PhD full time. That's what I'm doing. I don't have any outside distractions from that. So I'm hoping to expand from just book videos into journaling content, and also probably making some videos about my creative writing endeavors, because that's kind of what I do when I'm not super swamped with, you know, translating Latin texts and whatnot. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you stick around for the future updates, and, you know, hopefully, we'll see. I intend to remain consistent and give you guys the content that I would want to see too, you know? They say make the videos you want to see. That's what I'm going to do this year. So thanks for sticking it out. If you made it to the end of this video, tell me what your first read of the year was. I really want to know. Even though my TBR is massive, I'm always looking for more book recommendations, as most readers are at all times. So good to see you guys. Have a happy January.